Have you ever wondered how the biggest democracy on the planet actually works? We're talking about an election so massive, it unfolds over weeks and involves almost 1 billion people. It's an incredible feat of organization. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and understand how this amazing democratic machine really ticks. I mean, really think about that. How do you possibly manage an election with more voters than the entire populations of North America and Europe put together? You might imagine chaos, but it's actually a very carefully designed system. It's like a masterpiece of logistics and law. So let's get into the blueprint. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the basics, what an election even is. Then we'll look at the 2 main ways people get elected, one you're directly involved in and one you're not. We'll check out the election calendar. And finally, we'll meet the powerful, independent referee that makes sure the whole thing is fair, the Election Commission. Okay, first up, let's start at square one with the absolute foundation of any democracy. It's a word we all know, but its real power is in what it means. And there you have it. An election is basically the formal process where we, the people, choose who gets to run the government. It's not just about picking a winner, it's the moment we give them the right, the authority, to govern on our behalf. All right, now this is where it starts to get a little more interesting. You might think voting is just, voting. But in India's system, there are actually 2 different ways someone can get elected. Let's break down these 2 paths to power. First, you've got direct elections. This is the one we're all familiar with. It's a direct line from you to the candidate. You go into the voting booth, you press a button, and your vote counts directly for that person. This is exactly how the members of the Lok Sabha, the main lawmaking body in India, are chosen. Simple enough, right? But then there's the second path, indirect elections. In this case, you don't vote for the final person directly. Instead, the representatives you already elected, say in your state legislature, do the voting for you. A perfect example is the President of India. This way, the person in that role has the support of elected bodies from all over the country. This table really lays it all out. For direct elections, you see the voters are all of us, a huge electorate. But for indirect elections, the voters are a much, much smaller group of already elected representatives. It's a really clear difference between mass participation on one side and delegated representation on the other. So we know what elections are and the different types of voting, but what about when they happen? It turns out it's not just a single standard event that happens every few years. There are actually a few different reasons why we all head to the polls. Most of the time, things run like clockwork. We have a general election every 5 years. That's the big one. But, politics can be unpredictable. If a government happens to lose its majority in the middle of its term, that can trigger a midterm election. And on a smaller scale, if a single seat becomes empty because someone retires or passes away, a special by-election is held just for that one spot. Okay, with hundreds of millions of voters, countless politicians, and all these different rules, you have to wonder, who makes sure this whole giant process runs fairly? Well, you need a strong, neutral umpire. And in India, that's the Election Commission. Seriously, thinking of the Election Commission as the ultimate referee is the best analogy. Their entire job, their whole reason for existing, is to make sure every single election, from the smallest by-election to the massive general one, is free and fair. It's absolutely a cornerstone of India's democracy. And the Commission's role isn't stuck in the past. It's actually overseen a huge leap in technology. We've gone from millions upon millions of paper ballots and ink stamps to secure electronic voting machines, or EVMs. That shift is a game changer for making voting faster, more accurate, and just way more efficient. So, calling a commission a referee is a good start. But what does that really mean? What kind of powers does it have to keep everyone in line? The candidates, the parties, even the government itself? Let's take a look inside its toolkit. Before we dive into the specifics, just remember this one thing. Every single power the commission has is aimed at achieving one simple but incredibly important goal: to make sure every election is free and fair. That's the North Star for everything they do. So how do they do it? Well, it starts with us, the voters. The commission creates the official voters list. It issues photo IDs to make sure the right person is voting. It decides the dates for the elections. And maybe most importantly, once those dates are announced, a strict model code of conduct kicks in. It's basically a rule book for what politicians can and can't do, ensuring nobody gets an unfair advantage. And then they turn their focus to the political parties. The commission is the official gatekeeper. It's the body that registers and recognizes parties. It also gives them their symbols, which is super important so that everyone, regardless of literacy level, can identify their party. And finally, it acts as a financial watchdog, keeping a close eye on how much money is being spent during campaigns.
And look, this isn't just a suggestion. It is a constitutional command. The people who designed India's democracy intentionally gave the Election Commission these incredibly broad powers. They wanted to make sure there was a strong, independent body that could protect the entire democratic process, no matter what.
So there you have it, a huge, complex, but very rule-based system, all designed around fairness, with a powerful election commission right at the center. It's an incredible achievement. But of course, no system is perfect. Which brings us to the big question. In today's world of social media and big money in politics, what new ideas or reforms could make the world's largest democracy even fairer, even stronger? And that's a conversation for all of us to have.